I've also read enough biographies of secular folks who blew their brains out with a gun at age 65. Yes, without the realization that life is still worth living, I doubt I could have faced tomorrow. Whoa. Bill Gaither is no longer a recluse at the age of 88. He is finally speaking out after decades of silence despite internal strife, financial accusations, divisive remarks, and problems in the entertainment sector. He now provided his own words to validate or clarify previously unnoticed events and criticisms. Gaither was no longer shown as the perfect artist. Instead, he became a real person with flaws and accomplishments. At this point, all that has been kept silent must be revealed. The gospel music community reacted negatively when the information was made public on music forums in early 2024. In 2010, an internal recording that was thought to have been produced during the show's creation reappeared and became widely popular. In this audio, Bill G harshly voiced his own opinions, saying that some of the musicians he had worked with were self-centered, unconcerned with their spirituality, and simply interested in becoming famous. The discussion's contents have never before been made public. A number of artists who had performed on the Gaither homecoming event were subtly referenced in the conversation shortly after the recording went viral, sparking a flurry of discussion and division among Christian musicians. Meanwhile, Sandy Patty, a long-standing star of the show, made headlines with a personal post. The article alluded to the artist's experiences with favoritism and unequal opportunity distribution in the early 21st century Christian music industry, even if it did not specifically name anyone. The incident was immediately connected by fans to her previous work with Bill Gaither, leading many to speculate as to why she departed the program in 2003. The participating artist stayed silent as the flood of remarks grew stronger due to public pressure. Bill Gaither's leadership role in the gospel music industry has been examined in depth in a number of pieces published in religious press outlets, including Christianity Today and the Christian Post. These studies have focused specifically on the Gaither Music Company's organizational structure. Interestingly, the event that sparked controversy in the late 1990s when a former senior employee named Robert Clean filed a complaint over financial transparency. The situation was managed internally without revealing particular details, and it was never made public. However, Bill Gaither acknowledged in a rare interview in early 2025 that certain financial processes were not adequately managed during the expansion phase. While confirming that there was no element of exploitation or personal benefit, he acknowledged managerial inadequacies. There were conflicting responses to this statement. While many argued that speaking out late had diminished its persuasiveness, certain seasoned audiences valued the candor. Several artists who have long been involved with Gaither's initiatives publicly voiced their opinions in response to the development. On social media, Mark Lowry and Michael English both discussed how Bill Gaither helped advance their careers and urged neutrality. However, online Christian music groups and content-sharing sites like X persisted in disseminating the hashtag or gather their truth, demanding a thorough accounting of the historical occurrences pertaining to the operational, financial, and human problems within the Gaither Music Company production system. When a video clip from Gaither's internal release program in late 2024 exposed a portion of a strategy discussion over the direction of Homecoming's content, in which Bill Gaither made it plain that he was committed to keeping complete control over the product, artists, and brand direction, debate reached a boiling point. Although the film wasn't objectionable, several detractors viewed it as proof of a rigid management style and a preference for business over religion. Bill Gaither only made one official notification through the media agent in that situation, rather than using the customary response method, though. In this succinct statement, he reiterated his dedication to inspirational music and stated that the core value of his musical endeavors remains the principle of serving the community. The speech was perceived as an attempt to calm the developing media crisis, even though it did not specifically address any one incident. In order to meet the content creation demands of Bill and Gloria Gaither, Gaither Music Company was established in the late 1980s as a music publishing business. The business has grown quickly over the years, becoming an integrated ecosystem that includes online media, e-commerce, television publishing, music production, content distribution, and event production. While Gaither Television Productions is in charge of the Homecoming television series and DVD, Gaither Management Group oversees the concert and touring divisions. Furthermore, Gaither Music Group manages the distribution of music products via services like Spotify, Apple Music, and Sirius XM. The Gaither Music Company is organized with a centralized management structure, and Bill Gaither and his group of internal advisors directly approve the majority of strategic decisions. The business tightly controls the brand, approving distribution rights, artist images, media direction, and content. The Gaither brand can remain consistent thanks to this arrangement, but some of its artists' creative freedom is also restricted. Bill and Gloria Gaither wrote more than 700 songs for the Gaither Music Company as of 2025. Many of these songs have become staples of contemporary Christian music. In addition to the American Christian community, songs like He Touched Me Because He Lives and The King Is Coming have been acknowledged for their significant impact in other nations where English is the primary language of worship. Since the early 1990s, the firm has sold tens of millions of copies of its music releases. However, the Gaither Music Company's professionalization and growth have come under fire for being overly commercialized. Some church officials and scholars of Christian culture have maintained since the early 2000s that the organization's global content distribution, merchandising, and high ticket prices have produced an operating model that is very similar to that of for-profit entertainment businesses. Data demonstrating that the average ticket price for homecoming events usually varies between $50 and $100, far surpassing the average spend at conventional faith-based events. Supports this opinion. The Gaither Music Company's authority over its long-term artist roster is one noteworthy aspect of internal operations. Artists like David Phelps, Michael English, Guy Penrod, Mark Lowry, and others have all had lengthy, genuine partnerships and experienced notable success throughout that time. However, there have also been instances where artists have left the program without providing a reason, which has raised questions over the partnership model's lack of autonomy. Additionally, the business runs Gaither Family Resources, a conference facility and faith-based store in Indiana that blends business, education, and missionary endeavors. Additionally, the creation of digital content for children's religious education is supported by Live Bait Productions, an animation production company led by Benji Gaither, Bill's son, Fu. After creating a sizable company with a decidedly personal touch, Bill Gaither's influence also permeated the private realm, particularly in his family and the way he balanced his personal decisions with his religious beliefs. Gaither Clan. In the Christian artistic community, the Gaither family has long served as a symbol of solidarity. Their marriage and musical pursuits have been prime examples of a ministry family since the early 1960s. The Gaithers, who have 3 children, Benjamin, Amy, and Suzanne, have established a network of people who encourage one another in their creative and professional pursuits. The executive director of Live Bait Productions, the animation division of Gaither Music Company, is currently Benjamin Gaither, best known by his stage name Benji. Benji, who specializes in instructional animation and digital content creation, acts as a liaison between the Gaither brand and the younger members of the religious community by producing goods that are obviously focused on religious teaching. The oldest daughter, Suzanne Gaither, is mostly active in event planning and management. She frequently organizes the homecoming tour and the religious seminars that Gaither Family Resources hosts in Indiana. Both are regarded as part of the Gaither Music Company's family-owned heritage. However, the second daughter, Amy Gaither, did not follow in the family's footsteps. Amy decided to pursue a career in media outside of Christian music after graduating from college in the late 1980s. She has previously voiced her disapproval of her family's management of their creative and commercial endeavors in public remarks. She stated in a 1995 media interview that the family was tense and conflicted because of the strain to keep up a public image. Public image. Amy later issued a brief statement retracting the statement, and she hasn't been in many shows or programs associated with the Gaither Music Company since. The Gaithers have experienced difficult periods in their personal lives, in addition to differences in personal orientation. As the homecoming chain grew in size and financial power in the late 1980s, Christian journalists began to worry that the job's new duties may lead to internal pressures. Several former employees who worked at Gaither Management Group during this time suggest that the long hours and significant concentration of power could have caused role conflicts among family members. However, members have not verified this. Information regarding James Gaither, a father's side relative, who was mentioned in an independent investigation report published in early 2025, is another aspect of the family history. James is the cousin of Bill Gaither, according to the material made public, who relocated to the U.S. West Coast in the 1970s after leaving the Christian community. He reportedly lost touch with his birth family for a long period. James passed away in 1985, and the family's public records include no information on him. However, during a recent interview with local media, Bill G unintentionally brought up a relative who was overlooked due to differences in their values and lifestyle choices. Although the name was not mentioned in the statement's text, onlookers quickly recognized it as being connected to James Gaither. Numerous analyses of how religious households manage internal conflicts in a setting where moral principles and beliefs are crucial have been spurred by this occurrence. However, according to Gaither Music Company's official data as of 2025, the family is still upholding a steady coordinating structure in its core business. While Benji and Suzanne manage operations and communications, Gloria Gaither remains the content advisor. The Gaither TV Plus platform is being expanded, an online music education system is being developed, and a teen Christian education podcast series is being maintained. The importance of organization and family in upholding the Gaither brand became evident as the internal structure was developed. However, Bill Gaither's impact went beyond his family and business, particularly in terms of interactions with the larger community and occasions that had a significant effect on him and his followers. In the wake of the incident, Gaither Music Company changed its logistics plan and made its operating standards more transparent, demonstrating that the event's impact was not only symbolic but also a catalyst for shifting views on the duties of religious music organizations in the 21st century. While individual decisions and acts from faith-based arts groups continue to conclude the story, it also highlights the necessity of reflecting on the founder Bill Gaither's overall creation and development process. Personal formation, influence, and transformation from educator to founder of the most powerful music foundation in the American Christian community. Alexandria, Indiana, was the birthplace of Bill Gaither in 1936. He was raised in a Christian middle-class household and attended Anderson College, where he majored in English and music before graduating with a bachelor's degree in 1959. He subsequently proceeded to Ball State University to obtain a master's degree with the goal of becoming a public school teacher. In his own time, he composed music while working as a high school teacher from 1960 until 1967. He touched Me's 1963 composition, Significant Shift from Teaching to Full-Time Music. He wrote almost 700 songs that are essential to contemporary Christian music alongside his wife, Gloria Gaither. Some of his writings, such as Because He Lives, Something Beautiful, and The King Is Coming, have enjoyed widespread religious appeal. These songs are on the playlist of hundreds of churches around the world and have been acknowledged by music groups like the Recording Academy and the Gospel Music Association. One of the most recognizable songwriting teams in American Christian music history is the Gaither pair. Gaither established the Gaither Vocal Band in 1981 with the goal of modernizing Southern gospel music as a professional performance group. The group's members were frequently switched to accommodate changing market demands and artistic philosophies. The founder's ability to identify and nurture talent is demonstrated by the fact that some of the artists who left the organization went on to become well known in the business. In addition to performing live, the band also produced video content, appeared on television, and went on foreign tours. and went on foreign tours. Since the 1990s, the Homecoming series and the Gaither vocal band have been essential components of the Gaither Music Company's growth plan. For over 30 years, these gatherings have supported the Gaither brand by acting as a marketing and creative instrument. This technique has helped many artists gain recognition, such as Guy Penrod, Linda Randall, David Phelps, Mark Lowry, Michael English, and Russ Taff. Gaither promotes the creation, marketing, and distribution of independent content, in addition to giving artists a platform to perform. Bill Gaither has a significant role in the advancement of religious music, education, in addition to being a writer and performer. He helped start the Dove Awards, which honor accomplishments in Christian music, and was a founding member of the Gospel Music Association. Despite a decline in live concerts, he has integrated his artistic and missionary endeavors throughout his career through international partnerships, music scholarships, and educational television programming since the late 2000s. The creation of the Gaither TV Plus platform, Sirius XM programming, and religious education podcast channels are just a few of the digital content initiatives that Bill Gaither has continued to spearhead. In order to help the next generation of the Christian music ecosystem sustain and grow its influence, he has changed his concentration from performing to content strategy. Please take a moment to help spread the word about this article if you think it has significance for individuals who appreciate music, religion, and the genuine experiences of those in the spotlight. Please show your support by liking this video. Leave a comment to contribute to the discussion and share it with friends who recognize the importance of legacy and personal truth. And be sure to subscribe and stick around for what comes next if you want to be updated with additional stuff that speaks to something deeper than the surface.